Hey guys, welcome back to Road to 1800, and you might notice from my rating that I have done a little bit of off-camera grinding. Over the past few months, I haven't been recording, half because I didn't want to, half because I didn't think my games were very interesting, but we are back on the grind. Not that I stopped the grind, but we are back to recording it. So this is a game. We are rated 1635, and recently I picked up the Catalan opening, which I kind of play against a lot of things now. I've seen this opening quite a few times. What I like to do is I like to push my D pawn. I haven't really studied this, but um, it kind of just plays into what I think is natural, what is probably theory. Because if they take here, then I take back with the C pawn and I get the open C file. And I like to fianchetto to look down this diagonal because I tend to see that they like to develop the bishop here, and it seems unsupported, whereas I'm castling and protecting this bishop with my king. A little bit of a mouthful, but yeah. I don't think, honestly, that my tactics have improved very much in the grind from 14 to 1600. But I think just like my foresight has improved, which I think is the biggest difference between the two ratings, is that people will look towards where the end game will be heading when they are higher rated. Because when I was 1400, I was looking at tactics, and whereas now I'm seeing, okay, they're going to push here, arrows, and that's going to close off my light square bishops. So I have the option of taking here, they take back, for example. I also have the points that they blocked off my bishop from this diagonal. If they push here, I'm going to be prevented from going here. My bishop is kind of just dead here. And if I take here, this pawn has very high potential of becoming a backwards pawn, which in this position I think it might just be best to take to prevent the push from happening before I castle. Because now, without this pawn, their castle will be much weaker, and if they castle long, I think that's very weak because my bishop is staring down that diagonal, and they've already pushed all these pawns forward. And it looks like they agree with me. They look like they're going to castle this way. And I'm also thinking of looking at this outpost. A lot of little things. Okay, we trade, and now I get this outpost. And worst case scenario, I trade off for the dark square bishop, which might not be the best trade in all of times because all their pawns are on dark squares pretty much. But frankly, the bishop should be better than the knight in the endgame. I'm also looking at how this does appear to be becoming a backwards pawn. I want to push here and prevent it from moving forward. Yep, this is now a backwards pawn. I can remove the defender. Play a little developing move, and then I can start putting pressure on it. They've even cut themselves off for me very nicely. Cut off the rook. So it's going to be slightly easier to apply pressure. And also I can play knight here to apply even more pressure because neither of these knights are in very good positions to defend this pawn. This knight, to defend it, would have to go here. And of course, if I move there, I want to play f3 first. But I don't think there is any way to defend this pawn anymore. It seems my opponents would agree. Now I have the option of just taking the pawn, but that weakness is not going anywhere. And they're looking to take the bishop, which is already losing, and they're doubling my pawns, opening up the file for the rook, which I would have to take back with my king because after this, interesting. I don't see much alternative. I could bring my knight here, attacking the queen and defending the bishop, also taking the outpost, which I think is good. All right. We trade. This is still a weakness, as I said. And now my knight is on this powerful square because I think it's powerful, at least because I'm like preventing these rooks from coming in if I move here, and they're weakening their king even further if they push forward. And now this is a free pawn. Again, sorry if I'm talking a bit too much, but it's been a while since I've recorded. I'm kind of excitable. Okay, let's bring the knight to the nice square, staring down their king, trying to provoke from some moves that might weaken their position. Bringing the rook to the open file. And hanging a pawn in the meantime. Don't see everything. Interestingly enough, I can actually just defend this knight, and it's fine, because if they take here, then I'm actually forking their rooks. But I have to be worried about this, but I don't actually have to be, because then this would be a fork. So I can actually push. And although my king is weaker, now I'm forking. And now I just realized that I am pinned. Yeah. Okay, so let's go here. It's not the worst position. Could have been worse, but it's not likable. I might have spent a bit too much time talking. Okay, let's go here. Threatening this fork if they take. This is not a free pawn. Okay, and I'm going to come back, defend it. My knight can never be removed, and I'm going to try to play for a draw. I've become somewhat averse to resigning, because I find that people actually don't know how to convert winning positions. Of course, some people do, but oftentimes I find that it's quite easy to weasel away a draw. I want to prevent the rook from getting open files, for example, as some of the tactics to do that. I think this pawn is now weak, so I'm going to go try to grab it. I probably want to defend this pawn in the near future. Okay. Just bring the king. Okay. Again, not the worst position. It's defendable. Cutting off the king from progressing. This pawn moving is quite scary. I can play here, forcing the king back, actually, because all of these squares are controlled. Yes, I think I will play that. And now I can come back, defending that pawn. and I'm happy to close these files if they allow me to by pushing. Best case scenario, they push this way, because if they push this pawn, then they can actually go down this file if my knight ever moves. I think I will play here, because I want to target the weak pawns, trying to get some passers. Create even more problems. Simply just trying to provoke moves, trying to get them to make moves that worsen their position, because then if they do that, then actually I wouldn't run back, I would just take the pawn. And then after they check me, I take this pawn, and then they take that pawn. And they are on my back rank, but I have this passer. Sacrificing the pawn. Okay. Defending, now they aren't on my back rank. The last thing I want is for the rook to get to my back rank. What? Like I said, people don't know how to defend positions. Okay. So how do I approach this? I want to close off things. I don't think I can defend this pawn because my king is behind it. But I can try. Let's see if I can get some trades over here. Try to provoke them into moving their king so I can save that pawn. Because now it is their move. And they have to move away. So now I can go here. Of course, if they go there, then I would take the pawn, actually. Let's pre-move that, just in case they try to catch me pre-moving. They did. Okay. And now I believe this should just be free win, because their pawn is much further, and now they can never catch this pawn. I can even like go here and sack, but we'll keep it simple. Just push the pawn. Passed pawns are meant to be pushed. Oh, that's where my king is. Right. Okay, and we get a simple ladder mate. So yeah, off-camera grinding. We game review, and we played with good accuracy. Yeah, I think this move was where I went wrong. Yeah, I lost a huge chunk of my advantage here simply because I was. Oh my god. Oh, okay, we're fine. This was simply cut off in the thing. Okay. Uh, moving around things on OBS. Gonna pretend that I set that up in advance. Okay, so this is the stuff you missed. I really should learn how to edit so I don't have to keep these things in the video. Yeah, so this was where we went wrong. So let's go back to move one. So this was looks fine for the most part for me. I was up here. I don't think they particularly studied much theory of their own opening. This is very inaccurate on their part for someone who's playing the Benoni. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have traded off my bishop, but it's fine. Yep. And this is where I went wrong because I gave up this pawn, right? That is what was played. Oh. Right, because of what happened in the game where this was played. Yeah. And I really think that we defended quite well. And then this happened. I'm still not quite sure what happened here. This was certainly the position. I believe I played something like this. Yeah, and then they moved back. Personally, I think that was a very nice game considering that I am playing into an opening that I don't know. And yeah, we're back on road to 1800. 157 points to go. Welcome back.